It's, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh that stuff off sometimes. I totally understand. Because it's a stressful situation. I know it is, And laughter is good medicine.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of times that's how we deal with it.
You have to. Yeah. No.
And you can't bottle it up. You have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You have to.
No.
And then, you've probably seen some pretty dire situations too, correct?
Oh.
Yeah.
How about you? Yeah. I know. No.
I once had a friend of mine, you know, from high school. Her son, Debbie, first couple of times I met him, so he started asking me questions about the job. And he's like, "So, have you seen a lot of dead people?" I looked at Deb.
Yeah.
And I looked at her. She's a nurse. Like, she works in OR and everything else, right? How do I answer this?
Yeah. Honestly, I guess.
And that's what she said. Answer him honestly. I said, I have. He's like, "How many?" I said,
"Can't count.
Too many."
Yeah. At that point, you don't keep track.
No, you don't keep track.
No.
And then he says, "How many people have you saved?" Not enough.
Really?
I don't know how else
that's
to
answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah, right? That's true.
Good answer. Bravo. I like that answer.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Thank you. But that's the honest question that first came into my head. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I get that.
Well, it's stressful.
Do you have any stories that we can read too?
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking, this is the headline. A dead husband called 911 on behalf of his wife.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
Just popped up. Former EMT firefighter here. One night, we got a call to do a wellness check on someone who dialed 911 but didn't respond to the operator. We pulled up to the address, and the house looks pretty quaint, and a little old lady greets us at the door. We asked her if she knew who placed the call, but she told us that she lived alone since her husband died. We barely got back to the station before a call comes in again. Same address as before, so we drive back out, talk to the old lady again, and leave. And just as we get back to the station, same call, same address, no response. We drive out there again, believing that the old lady must be confused. By this time, when we pulled into the driveway, the old lady wasn't at the door to greet us. No reply at the door, but it was unlocked. We take a peek inside to find the old lady on the floor and wasn't breathing. We rushed in to help and got her to the hospital in stable condition. When she woke up in the ambulance, she claimed that she never called us and that we arrived almost immediately after she had fallen. It was a 15-minute drive to her house from the station. Before she was admitted to the hospital, she asked me and another EMT if we could bring her knitting needles and a bag of clothes to her in the hospital. I offered to pick up her stuff because I had a friend who lived in the area. I pick up my friend and drive to the lady's house. I ran inside to grab the bag and knitting stuff while my buddy sat in the car. But just as I was leaving, I swear I felt a hand on my back and heard a voice say, "Thank you." When I get back in the car, my friend asked me why couldn't the lady's husband bring her stuff to the hospital. I explained that her husband was dead, but when I said that my friend said, "But I saw an old guy in the window," he smiled and waved at me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So he was in there watching out for his wife.
Oh.
Interesting.
I know.
I'll tell a story. I don't have authorization to use this story, so I won't use names.
Okay. Nameless.
When I recanted the story to my friend, she's like, because I'm like, this happened, right? And that happened. Didn't it go down like that? And she's like, oh shit. She's like, I totally forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Jazz. So it might have been one of those suppressed type things or whatever. A friend of mine was out for the night and her kids weren't home. They were like with her mom or something. And she went out. She came home like 3 a.m-ish or whatever. And when she came home, and there were like townhouses. And when she came home, she noticed that there was smoke coming from the suite on the end. And she was the second one in. And the first thing she thought is, oh my God, like it was a girl. I think she had 2 kids, boy or girl, I'm not too sure. It was a girl, 2 kids, and a boyfriend or a husband or something. So the first thing she thought, oh my God, they're like asleep. Like she's got to get them out.
Yeah.
So she went into the front door and she tried to walk in. And it was so thick she couldn't see in front of her. Like it was that far gone, you know. And she tried to walk a couple in, but she didn't want to get lost. And she was calling out. Nobody called out, so she was hoping that maybe she went to her mom's for the night or something with the kids or whatever, you know, and the place was dark. And then she went back and then she called the fire department or whatever, right? But as it turned out, I guess the girl and her kids weren't there. They did go to her mom's for the night, but the husband or the boyfriend was there, and he must have fallen asleep and left something in the oven or something. And they were saying that he was just like 5 feet from the door. He couldn't find his way out, and my friend was just like feet away from him as well, but she couldn't see him.
It was
and he died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she said after that, she'd hear knocking, because they shared the same wall. She'd hear knocking on that wall every now and then. She'd hear knocking, and she would, the lights would flicker on and off in her suite or something like that. Like, they're just strange. That I can't confirm 100%. I don't want to bother her with that again.
Yeah.
But, he did die, and he was that close to getting out, and she couldn't help him. She felt bad about that for the longest time, but she could have died as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, but yeah, there was always strange occurrences that were happening because they shared the same. And she believed it was him, and she could hear knocking and stuff, like he was trying to find his way out.
Did she feel upset about that knocking? Like, I mean, did she think she was like, he was mad
well, I
at
think
her?
it's, no, I don't think it was anything like that. It's just a horrible reminder.
Oh, yeah.
Like a horrible reminder. Oh, like, shit, I could have, but she couldn't have. Like, there's just no way.
No.
Yeah.
Without endangering herself. Like, she could have been easily turned
Oh,
around.
she could just blocked out.
Oh, yeah.
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 Like, when
Because
you
that
can't
smoke
see...
is thick and
And
heavy,
toxic.
and it will toxic and can overtake you just like that.
I know.
And who's to say that she'd be able to, even if she would have felt him, if she would have been able
To drag him out. Maybe it was 300 pounds. Yeah.
a dead weight like that.
Oh.
And he could have already been dead for a while, too,
Yeah,
right?
Who knows,
So,
yeah. My ex died in a fire like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dryer fire.
Ooh.
But the dryer, before I went to sleep, caught fire. He was sleeping.
See? And people think I'm crazy.
No.
My dryer, my washing machine, my dishwasher.
Never go on when you're not home or
when
asleep.
I'm not home or if I'm going to sleep.
Me either.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Not
I'm
after that.
funny about the dryer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never have thought about it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm reading it in the obits after. I'm like, holy crap. Really? That's how it happened?
Really? They
I
put
was
that in the
shocked.
obit?
Well, no. It was in there. I was reading the obits and I was, holy shit.
2 and 2 together.
But then I read the news story about it after and I was like, because it was actually in the news. It was like happened out of town. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it was like, whoa.
Wow.
No.
Freaky.
Wow.
Well, let's see what else I can find. Oh, goody. Look what I found. The Ouija board. It was on fire. I don't know.
I thought you're not supposed to do that.
No Ouijas.
You're not.
No Ouijas.
Bury them, right?
Bury them or give
I
them
would
away.
just give them away.
That's right.
To someone you don't like.
That's right. And I did. Hell yeah. All right. So it says
I have long ass stories I
well,
found.
this one's kind of short, so I like this one. A fire company that I used to belong to is quartered in a building built in the 1930s, and it is unquestionably haunted. Odd things happen regularly, such as bathroom stall doors being locked from the inside, TV and lights turning on and off, footsteps across the floor, and yelling when no one else is there, etc. A few members decided to bring in a Ouija board one night and see what they could find out.
Let's
Don't
just
do
do
that.
that.
Don't do that, Jen.
I will not.
Jen!
No.
Damn it.
No.
Fucking Jen, I told you, no Ouija boards
No
in the
Ouija boards,
firehouse.
damn it. Can you imagine all you guys sitting around?
Oh my god.
Out.
Yeah. Peace out. So they brought it one night to see what they could find out, and it turns out that there are 2 ghosts. One is a past chief, and the other is a small boy that used to live in a row of miners' houses that has long since been torn down. The chief confirmed his identity by naming other long dead members, and then brackets, so long dead that we had to dig back 50 years to the company's records to even find their names. The chief generally drags chairs around the meeting room at night and yells at the members.
Sounds like a chief.
about right.
Sounds about
Yeah,
right.
sounds like a chief.
While the other boy is constantly bouncing his ball on the upstairs floor. All of this only happens at night.
Oh. Chief dragging shit around.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
That's funny.
That is.
That is funny.
See, if I do haunt a fire hall, it'll be for fun.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Look at
I'm just gonna
stir the
mess with
shit
them.
out of everyone.
right.
Stir it up.
Move their crap around,
Yeah.
right? I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'd do.
What would you have? What do you have?
What do I have? I have a beer.
Excellent.
Oh, Pabst.
How is that, by
I
the
have
way?
a Pabst. It's
that-
okay. It's
tastes
alright.
like
Kind of pea-ish. It's only 4.9%.
The
But
P is
it's
for the
booze.
P that's in the P.
It's in one end, out the other. I have, what do I have here? Officers witness a little girl vanish in front of them. I don't know if these are police officers or what, but I remember my father telling me a story of when he was a police officer in New Hampshire. Ooh, where's New Hampshire? Don't know.
It's that way.
Over there.
Left turn at Albuquerque.
Point with my lips.
One night, dispatch gets a call from someone reporting to have seen a little girl wandering around a lake by herself. That night, my father was on duty, and every available police officer responded to try and find this little girl. Well, yeah. My father was the first to arrive with his partner. As they exit their car, they slowly start to walk toward the lake. As they near the water, my father's partner hits him on the shoulder and points toward the lake. And there stands this little girl. My father said when he turned to see her standing in the water, and every hair on his back and neck stood up once he saw her. Oh, yeah. Ooh, it was 2 a.m. Ooh. And November, so it was cold outside. He said she was in a white gown with no shoes, standing in the water. They both looked at each other, knowing that something wasn't right about this situation. They reported to dispatch. They found the girl. They walk a little closer, and my father kneels down and holds his arms out and calls for the girl to come to him. The little girl then turns her attention to my father and slowly starts to walk toward him from out of the water. As this is happening, another unit pulls up to witness this girl walking up to him. Just as the girl is within 8 feet of my father, she disappears, and there was nothing but tiny little footprints in the dirt. They all stand there in disbelief, trying to figure out what just happened.
Come on.
And one of the police officers turns and says, "How the fuck are we going to explain this?"
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, that's kind of weird.
that is weird.
Wow.
I wonder if she drowned there. She was in a nightgown and barefoot. She probably just wandered away from home and drowned there, right?
Yeah.
Just in a little
Or
pond
somebody-
or whatever. Or
some
somebody
creep.
ditched her
Drowned
there.
her.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Horrible.
I don't know. I always watch those shows. Like, I'm a real big fanatic thing of, like, watching, like, crime detective shows and all that stuff like that. Like, I always want to do that for a job. But then you think about all this stuff, I'm like, oh, do you really want to? I don't know.
I don't know.
People are evil sometimes.
But
Oh,
you
they
know,
are.
I think
People
it
are
like
fucking assholes
like
sometimes.
kudos to you and what you do, and for
Oh,
so long,
yeah.
because you know what? After a while, like you can get hardened. Like you
Oh,
just
or
you
burn
lose
out,
all
right?
sense of capacity, right? Like as to, you know, because like you kind of have to almost. I
You
think.
have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure.
like, my sense of humor is not normal.
No.
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
It's not.
No,
Well,
I know.
I
don't
think
think
it's normal, but
I
I'm not
think it's kind of
normal.
normal
Yeah.
too, though. So I don't know.
And kudos to these guys who are actually putting these
Stories
stories
out, yeah.
Because I can tell you, from my perspective,
Right.
we don't
Talk
No.
about it.
About our
It's
jobs.
not like that.
We
It's
don't-
like a club, right?
Yeah.
Keep it quiet.
You know, we
Yeah.
talk about it in and amongst ourselves,
Right.
or anything we've experienced,
Right.
or for us to talk about our feelings.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
that
gosh,
wouldn't happen.
yeah. Well,
No.
You
It's
know,
like some sort of
No.
toxic
no.
substance
Like
feelings.
we now have, you know,
Yeah.
if there's a horrible incident, then a couple of guys come down to the fire hall, and we're off duty, and we're supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, everybody right there is like,
Yeah.
no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No.
But I mean, like
yeah.
that could be said for most. First, like you got the nurses, you got the
No,
jail
yeah.
guards and stuff, right? Like you
Yeah.
get kind of hardened to all that. You,
You
know?
do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to in a way because then that way you kind of protect yourself. You know,
Oh, you have to.
Like, well, I'm not.
you can't speak for everybody. I know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But
But-
I'm not going to toot my horn or the police officers' horns or the paramedics. We're the first on scene.
That's right.
You know, you got your jail guards that
Mm.
deal with the buggers that do
The
the
everyday
crap,
bullshit, right? Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Or the nurses that
Yeah.
we're bringing them.
Yeah.
Right.
This-
The aftermath
That's right,
of
the
what
after,
you've dealt with.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No, I just meant like
Oh, yeah.
I know my brother-in-law works at Stony, and there was this murder there a couple of years ago or whatever, and the guy actually had his skull cracked open right in the cell, and they had to walk over it and stuff. So I'm saying,
awesome.
but I'm saying, if you're not trained in that, and then
Yeah.
you see it, because
Yeah.
even when you
Oh.
are trained in that, it still doesn't prepare you.
But it takes certain
No.
people to do this kind of job, though, too. Like, you
Yeah.
can't. Not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Some people will totally crumble and fall apart.
But
in the
this would
first
be-
fucking week. You know
But what
I mean?
I'm saying is, like, this would be the example when you say a traumatic event happens and people come down and talk. Well, that would be like in that category,
Yeah.
you know, like
Oh,
because
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
gruesome, man.
You know,
No one ever
Yeah.
shares stories about anything they see there at all, do they?
at work.
Yeah. Probably not. You know, you hear stories about people who are like, oh my god, was it a car accident? And someone's going to just about get a run over, and all of a sudden they were like miraculously saved by some unknown force, or people that lift up a fucking vehicle, you know, because they've got like
Yeah.
superhuman power all of a
the
sudden.
adrenaline
you know
and
what
blah
I mean?
blah.
Yeah.
You ever see any of that? Did anyone ever talk about shit like that, or are y'all just sort of like, each cure?
Yeah. No.
Tight-lipped.
Yeah. Not really, eh?
No.
No.
You know,
But
we
I'm
talk
sure it
about,
happens a lot,
I,
though.
I washed off brains off my boots.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
4 days after a car accident that I had. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't know those brains were there.
Oh. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And, you know, we make jokes about that.
No, I
you
know. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's
true.
true.
It's a
that kind of
coping
thing because-
mechanism.
Yeah.
It is,
But
totally.
That kind of thing where, you know, like you said, somebody superhuman strength
Yeah.
picking up a car and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have you
We don't
witnessed
go
anything
there.
like that? No. You've never been like to a scene where all of a sudden you're like going, what the fuck did I just